this is my guide to oxidizer flow control. So first of all, you'll need to gather all the equipment and materials you'll need. So that includes aluminum foil, your ball valve, a flow regulator for your pressure, 2 adjustable wrenches, the hose, and also your oxidizer. Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do is get your oxidizer tank, remove the cap, make sure your valve is completely closed, and you can do this using the conventional righty-tighty, lefty-loosey rule. So it's completely closed off. The next thing you want to do is get your flow regulator and start threading the connection onto the valve. So tighten it by hand at first until you can't tighten it anymore. And then grab your 2 adjustable wrenches and while holding it, tighten the connection on the valve. It doesn't need to be really tight, just enough to prevent the flow of gases. So the next step is to actually connect your hose to your pressure regulator. Now there is a type of fitting called NPT, which stands for National Pipe Thread. And those types of fittings actually require material called Teflon tape. And you put the tape around the connection to help seal it. However, when you have a volatile oxidizer like pure oxygen, that substance can actually break off of the connection and enter the stream and ignite. So we're not going to use that. So what you do is you directly connect your hose fitting to the outlet on the pressure regulator. Hand tighten it as far as you can go. Grab your 2 adjustable wrenches. Attach one to the hose fitting and one to the regulator fitting. And then tighten. The next connection we're going to do is the hose to the ball valve. Ball valves, when they're in this configuration, are open, so they're allowing all the flow through. But if you turn it 90 degrees to the pipe, it's actually closed. So now we're going to do the same connections that we did before. No Teflon tape, just tighten it on by hand first. And then when you're done, use your wrenches again to tighten it even further. So this is the other end of the pipe where we have our ball valve attached. This is actually just a flow measurement device that we're using. You may not have this in your setup, we're just showing it because this is our particular setup. So connecting here will be the other length of hose that you have, and then it will run to the oxidizer inlet on the hybrid engine on the other side. So once you're done making all of your connections for your system, you need to do a leak check on your setup. So what we're going to do now is actually do a leak check from the ball valve to the oxidizer tank. And the first thing you need to do is just make sure that your ball valve is completely closed. After you've closed your ball valve, you're now ready to open the tank valve and the regulator. The regulator is a bit different from the other valves in that as you turn to the left, it closes, and as you turn to the right, it opens. Now, open your tank valve. You'll see the pressure rise on this gauge here, which is the tank pressure. Then start opening the regulator. You'll see the pressure rise on this gauge, which is the actual pressure in this line. Then, close off the tank valve. Record the value on this gauge, and then check it again after 5 minutes. If it's the same, you have no leaks in your system. If it has decreased, that means you have a leak in your system, and you'll have to repeat the leak check again until you don't have any. Once you have no leaks in your system, you're ready to test.
Before running your test, make sure to write and observe safety and test protocols. Have one person operate the ball valve and another operate the tank valve and regulator. Good communication between the flow operators is key, and hand signals are preferred due to the noise the engine creates during the test. Open the tank valve and regulator fully and note both of the pressures on the gauges. This is important for doing analysis after the test. Initiate ignition of the engine and slowly open the ball valve. This starts the flow of oxidizer into the engine. Know your burn time and close the ball valve when it's reached to cut off the oxidizer supply to the engine. Then close the tank valve and the regulator. Purge the oxidizer line by opening the ball valve until no gas remains inside. Now your test is complete and it is safe to approach the engine. The following video will show an example test with the ball valve being opened and supplying the oxidizer into the engine, the burn followed by the closing of the ball valve to stop the burn, followed by the purge to get the remaining oxidizer out of the line.
Alright, going.
After your test, disassemble all of your equipment and be careful not to get any dirt or debris inside. You can wrap aluminum foil around connection points to help prevent this. If, however, you do get dirt or debris inside some of the pieces, refer to instructions on how to clean parts for oxygen flow before you're running your next test. Following these instructions will help your oxidizer flow test go smoothly and safely.